Ginger and White by J.R. Andrew. I don't want to be wanted for something that you want from me. I wanted nothing more than to live for love and poetry. Everywhere I look, something is going on. I know the cuffs of your shirt are turned up deliberately. By the way, their form looks like a green love heart, with a small bit shaved off by a carpenter's plane. Lucky you, not broken like the many mirrored hearts of women pieced together over a lifetime of trial and error. Carpenter's shavings can be collected. Could it be re-glued, a new you, a wooden heart from a heartless man? Now you know that I know why. I'm not for the material matters. Never really gesture the things that flash or impress gullible girls or middle-aged women. I remember when you were innocent. I brought you daffodils borrowed from the wild field near the castle. They felt like velvet. Never left me, that memory, doe-eyed and vulnerable. The nostalgia made me smile. A little note inside for love and poetry. But I was more innocent, and you preferred matters that mastered men to bring you materials. But I was never one of them, and you would not listen to me, and for love and poetry, freedom's key unlocked many doors for you. I prayed to St. Francis. You took chances with men, and men preyed on you, and you upon them lost some of your soul and became mean-spirited like those men. And the daffodils went blind that spring on seeing you suffer. You'd walk with me for hours before the meeting of men. Said I over-described the planting of bulbs in December, attached a spiritual significance to the insignificant. Now you'd kill for a daffodil, and I for those days again. You asked me once if I was a real man. I laughed. In recollect said, I don't know what I am. You called me a lesbian, and we laughed together when I replied, well, I do enjoy your company. You said I was sensitive. I know why. I cried at the funeral of your cat, played the role of priest, said an ode to Ginger and White. Your father stood sternly at the end of the garden with a shovel on a Saturday, seething. But any tear that rolled down my cheek was for you, with sympathy and condolences. Your mother was always kind to me. She flinched near him like I did around my mother. She knew I knew, and so did your father. On trial for his error, I mirror back in absolute silence. A sensitive boy sees a well-covered mother, and I was a well-covered boy. I joined the funeral procession on my own. She died young. Your father was so strong he could have carried her coffin alone. Only a year ago you asked if Ginger and White had a soul. Her life was of spiritual significance, and an insignificant boy would lay in a coffin if left alone with cats and women to lick his wounds. I adored your mother, clung by her side after school, in the kitchen. You'd get defensive when I'd compliment her red hair. They called you orangutan until you dyed your hair blonde. I guess you became an oddity for boys, used for entertainment, but I cherished your orangutan mother. Nature's belle died young, but lives longer when love for poetry, away from men and my mother. I think of you at funerals. You died younger than your mother. I saw you before you left, dazzling on a wet bridge, a sun shower in a small Irish town. holding hands with some clown as I blew you kisses while passing on my bicycle, smiling back, and your father could not carry that coffin alone. You grew up before me, yet not fully grown, and I was gifted with time to garden, knowing daffodils and writing poems of a ginger and white girl who never returned home, and a sensitive man cries for a spiritually significant girl, remembered in perpetuity with sympathy and condolences. I don't want to be wanted for something that you want from me. I wanted nothing more than to live for love and poetry.